is the biggest issue we have with the UK and the US today? On my left, I have Mr. Starmer. On my right, I have Mr. Trump. You might think it's politics, world politics. You might think it's the war and their opinion on the war. It's mid-May 2026 here in the UK. Anything could change currently. But no, it's not anything to do with world peace or policies. It's to do with grams versus cups. Do you know what cups are? American cups. They're these things. We all know what UK grams are, don't we? We get a weighing scale out and we weigh in grams. But there's a whole world of difference between them. And I'm going to explain in this video just the difference here. Okay, so come in closer because this is really important. I've got my notes here, so I'll tell you it correctly. I had a lovely visit. A really nice couple came to a class all the way from New York City just recently. And we got into a really interesting conversation about the difference between UK grams and American cups. You might have seen there's some fab recipes online, New York style cookies, American style cookies, that sort of thing. And I've tried here in the UK to make said cookies for quite a long time, but you never get the same consistency or the same texture. So when Bill and John came over to my class, we had quite an in-depth conversation about this. And a few weeks later, Bill sent me, and John did, some of these gorgeous American cups. So American cookies are made using these cups rather than grams in the UK, where we use grams on scales. Now, cups measure very differently to grams. So bear with me, I'm going to check my notes so I get this the right way around. Cups are the measure of the volume of space. So if you put flour into a cup, it's the actual volume of flour that cups are measuring. Whereas if we do it in grams, it's the weight. So the problem comes whereby if you put flour into a cup, that could weigh heavier than a different ingredient. So for instance, if you weigh sugar versus flour, because sugar are really tight grains, you could get a lot more into a cup. But obviously sugar weighs a lot lighter than flour. So can you see why it's such a bit of a total issue and you go, I don't know which one to do. So to help me out, thank you John and Bill for my amazing cups. I'm now going to show you how to make the best American cookie recipe using my new cups. Come over with me. So come and have a look at the ingredients that we've got here today. So we've got some butter, we've got 2 types of sugar, so caster sugar and light brown sugar. The light brown sugar gives you that nice caramelly flavour. We've got some vanilla extract, not essence, always get the best quality you can afford to buy. We've got 2 eggs, we've got flour in here, we've also got bicarbonate of soda and baking powder, and we've got a mixture of chocolate chips and just sliced cut chocolate. So I've gone for milk chocolate chips and dark chocolate, so you get that really nice combination of flavours. So these have all been pre-weighed before using our cups just here, and we'll put the recipe below the video so you can make this at home as well. So we're going to start by adding our butter and our sugar to our bowl. We're now going to pop our paddle on, and we're going to give that a good old mix. So this is our cups recipe, but we'll make sure we put both recipes below this video for you. So we're just creaming them together. So you want the butter to be mixed in really, really well with the 2 types of sugars so that you don't see either one. We've got a really nice caramel smell coming out now, and that's very much as the addition of the light brown sugar. So we'll just keep that going for a few more seconds, and then next we're going to add the eggs. So I'll turn my mixer off, and we're going to add both eggs. There we go, that's the first. And the second. We'll just mix this for just a few seconds, and then we're going to sieve in all our dried ingredients. Now what happens is, if you were to continue to mix this, it would go just quite watery. Can you see it's quite a watery consistency? Just by adding the flour, that will then give us a much thicker texture. But it's really important that you sieve them. And the reason it's good to sieve them is the last thing you want is great big pockets of flour. So all I'm doing is I'm just passing this through the sieve, trying not to throw it all over the floor as best as I can. It's amazing how much space it takes up to use the sieve. Is that better? Can you see a bit better now? Here we go. There's quite a lot in here, isn't there? So this is 2 3/4 cups of flour. So when we were talking about the volume and the surface area before, it's surprising just how much will go into these cups just here. Okay, there we go. So I'm now just going to pop all that into the bowl and add that all together into my mixer. There we go. I'll pop our mixer down and we're just going to start really slowly. If we turn the mixer up really fast, it's just going to shoot everywhere the flour is. So nice and slowly. Again, you don't want to overmix this. You just want to mix it until it's combined. So what I'm then going to do is I'm just going to scrape my blade down and scrape the bowl down, because a lot of the butter and sugar mixture just gets trapped on the sides there. Can you see that underneath? There we go. Just going to mix all that round. Get all these little bits off here. We want all that good stuff in the bowl. We're now going to add our vanilla extract. There we go. We'll pour that in. And we're just going to give it a nice little mix. Just have a look in the bowl just now. Can you see that's already come together quite quickly? That's perfect, just like that. We're now going to take our bowl off. We're going to pour in our chocolate chunks and chocolate chips. So just as a reminder, dark chocolate chunks, milk chocolate chips. That's lovely, isn't it? And we're going to go back over there and start to bring it together. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure we get all that lovely mixture off our beater. You'll remember I put my chocolate chips in there before. I'm just going to fold them in. So you need big, strong muscles to do this. I'm not sure I'm the strongest either, but we're going to give it a go. So fold them in. Remember that capital D that we've talked about before? We talked about it quite a bit on the video where we did our old-fashioned sprinkle cake. So you're just doing that because you don't want to knock any of the air out. But that's what your dough should look like when it's ready. It's really thick. That's what it should look like just there. Brilliant. I've now just got a baking sheet and I'm just going to cover it with some greaseproof paper. I'll just fold that down. And I've got just a dessert spoon and a knife. This recipe will make about 9 approximately. They're going to be quite big cookies, aren't they? That looks good. So I'm just going to measure them out roughly to start with by just dolloping our pieces on there. We can always make them bigger or smaller after by adding a little bit more or a little bit less. This one's a huge one here. If you can, make sure that they're the same sizes so they bake evenly. There's nothing worse than if you've got one that's taking forever to bake when all the rest are already finished. There's a few chocolate chips escaping there. Just pick those up and shove those back in. There we go. So I'm probably going to get 6 onto this baking, no, probably 5 onto this, and we'll grab another baking sheet in a second for the remaining ones. But at this stage, just have a look at your shapes and get them into a nice sort of, round shape, because whatever the shape they go in the oven, they'll obviously spread a little bit. But you just want to make sure they're the same sort of shape and that there's the same quantity of mixture just here. They look pretty good actually. So for those of you that have watched my videos before, I've already preheated the oven. So that's on for us already. Now, it's really good if you can put these in the fridge just to chill a little bit. What fridging does is it just makes them, it stops them spreading really thin. Sometimes if you go to like a supermarket and you have their cookies, they're really, really thin, but they're quite big in size. They're sort of more like that sort of a size. If they go straight in the oven, that's what these are going to look like. If you want them more like the traditional American cookies, it's always best to fridge these. So I typically do it for about an hour. But I know some people that have done them overnight and they say that's even better. So the longer you can leave them, the better. But we're going to do these for an hour today. So I'm just going to pop those into our fridge. Away we go. So while those are chilling, I just want to talk to you about, you know, the sort of differences between America and the UK. It's not just cups and grams, it's also oven temperatures. So this one, if I was in America, I'd be baking them, the cookies, I'd be baking them at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. In the UK, that's 190 degrees Celsius. So a really hot oven. So they spread just a little bit, but they go really nice and crispy on the outside, but still a little bit gooey in the centre. There's some really good conversions on things like Google or AI. If you just put those in, you know, what temperature is 375 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius or in gas temperature, you'll get a really nice chart that will tell you the actual temperature conversions. So, you know, there's a lot more between us that's different than there is similar. And this cookie recipe proves it as well. Okay, these have been in the fridge for an hour now, so we're going to grab those. Here we go. Don't they look superb? So they're going to go into our preheated oven. It's our equivalent in the UK is 190 degrees Celsius, so I'm going to pop those in now. There we go, close our oven door, and these will need to bake for approximately 14 minutes. Okay. So we're now at our 14 minutes and we're going to get these beauties out of the oven. Look at those. Don't they look superb? Can you see how they've not spread an awful amount? And the reason that they haven't is because we popped them in the fridge for an hour beforehand. They smell absolutely delicious. So we're going to get those onto a cooling rack and leave those to cool. So our American cookies are out of the oven and smelling amazing. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk to these two big characters just here. We're going to start with big old Don to see what he thinks of his American cookie. Don.
Anything American tastes so much better.
Is that beautiful, Don? Beautiful?
It's got to be American. It's good. This is good chocolate. Is it American chocolate?
It is actually Cadbury's chocolate, but I suppose Cadbury's is now owned by Kraft, so it probably is American chocolate.
Nothing's better than Hershey's, though.
Thank you, Mr. Trump. Now we're going to go over to the UK and talk to Mr. Keir Starmer. Mr. Starmer, what do you think of your our English white chocolate and raspberry UK-style American cookie?
Well, the first thing I need to say is, obviously, everything made in the UK is far greater than anything made in the US. And sorry, Donald, I really don't want to disagree with you, but I do believe my raspberry and white chocolate cookie is so much better.
United States of America rules. I will build a wall.
Don't get building that wall. Thanks, boys. Thanks for your opinion. It's May 2026. Come on, you two. Sort it out, will ya? Over and out.